Right, we are apparently live on air, Nicholas Carroll. Hello, everybody. Welcome to FIF TV. Obviously, just now, what is happening is the fixtures are being announced for the new Serie A season. So me and Nick thought we'd have a little chat just while it's happening and basically stuff like that. So nothing crazy. But we chat. So Nicholas, hello, how are you?
I'm very good, thanks, Dov. I'm very excited to finally get the fixtures out. It always seems to be Serie A's the last, one of the last leagues to kind of put it out there, so everyone's waiting to plan their trips or whatever it might be. So I'm very happy to see how the season's going to play out, who's going to have the easy runs to start with, and yeah. It's exciting. The Serie A season's getting very close.
Yeah, well, we did take our time in getting here, and we got here just in time because that's the first round of fixtures is coming up. So here we go. These are obviously the important ones. Who's going to get the first? I've got my cup as well, everybody. With my cup of tea in it with all of the football logo. So
and they can get a cup, can't they, Dov?
Yeah, right. There you go. Tavecchio presses his button.
Here we go.
Honestly, what a load of rubbish this is. This is like the biggest load of rubbish in the world. Atalanta Roma.
Oh.
This is so exciting.
There's a European game right there. Atalanta Roma. That's the cream of the crop.
Oh, Crotone Milan. There you go. Your southern boys.
Oh. I will be marking that down. I might be at that match. FIF special.
Well, I've not told you what match you're going to get. Inter Fiorentina, first game of the season.
Oh,
Valero.
Well, yeah. Borja Valero, Vicino, possibly.
Yeah, that's Cagliari, so that's an easy one for Juve. 3 points. Lazio Spal, very good.
Lazio Spal, very interesting.
Sampdoria Benevento. Oh. Who's that? Must be Cable got left then. Sassuolo Genoa. Chievo Udinese, first game of the season. I don't like that. There we go. Away as well. Our resident Sonia Missy will be enjoying that after she won her bet last season. If you missed that one, I don't know if you heard it. We decided to basically bet against each other that if Chievo finished first, she would pay for flights for me to go to Toronto, and if it was the other way around, if Daisy finished that. I would pay for her to come to Italy, and unfortunately, Cable did me wrong, so it cost me a lot of money. So yeah, there we go.
Round one.
What do we think of that then?
Very interesting. I think the main ones, Inter Fiorentina is a huge one for me. Obviously, given those 2 transfers, it looks like it's going to happen, but Fiorentina obviously have been completely gutted. So Bernardeschi,
the supermarket.
Yeah, not much coming in. So yeah, it's going to be interesting what kind of team Fiorentina puts out. You'd hope for the Viola fans that they can recruit some kind of a competitive team, but at the moment, it's not looking great. And Inter probably.
That's probably the biggest thing, Nick, is if they've got a team. I think that's my more pertinent question.
Yeah.
But that's a good game to start. Did you not play Fiorentina like first or second game? Was it last season or the season before?
I believe it would have been maybe 4th or 5th game from memory.
Okay, so I remember it being very early on in the season. That'd be the season before, because I think it was when Fiorentina absolutely smashed it.
So Juventus Cagliari, I guess, gives the champions a nice, easy run into it to test the new team out.
Yeah.
I'm sure they'll be more than happy with that.
Yeah. Sampdoria, a tough trip to Sampdoria. That'll be good. And Spal got a tough one against Lazio. So the two of the promoted teams there having difficult games, shall we say, as well.
Who did Verona have?
Actually, Napoli. So the 3 promoted teams are all playing difficult games. Although Verona are like they have transfer policy, like we're having Pazzini, signing Cassano and then him retiring, and who else did they sign? They signed Churchy. But it's like they're trying to get a team that was good in 2010 together for this season. It's not really the way to go. We're having some technical difficulties, I think.
Atalanta Roma. That'll be interesting. That's a test for them straight away to see if they're still at that level. Yeah. At home, you'd think they should put up a strong fight.
Yeah, but there's no players anymore.
Papu's still there.
I'm sure that's what all the Atalanta fans are loving. Like, Papu's still there, so everything's good.
That's all they need, apparently.
Nick, are you a Villa fan? Hamza Mir is asking. And he also says Cassano's a dick. Cassano's a... What would you call Cassano? He's a Marmite character, shall we say. But Nick, are you an Aston Villa fan?
I'm not an Aston Villa fan. I'm not at home. I'm currently
Is it the office? Oh, you're in the boardroom, no?
I'm in a boardroom of some sort, yes, let's just say that much. So, unfortunately, I don't own that little piece of memorabilia, but...
What is the piece of memorabilia?
It's a nice Aston Villa signed shirt from 2010.
What did he do in 2010, or is it just a random signed shirt?
It was from a League Cup semi-final win over Blackburn Rovers, which finished 6-4. 6-4, massive.
What a game. What a
huge, memorable game. I'm sure you can reminisce about that night. Dog.
Me? I can't remember anything that happened then. What are you talking about? I'm young. Although I've got a bit of sun today. I don't know if you can see. I'm a bit red.
Can see that in Finland.
Yes, really hot.
Didn't know the sun came out there.
The sun's always out. It's always out. Really hot. Connor Clancy's teasing us and saying that it's Roma to see if they're at the same level as Atalanta. I think it's a bit of a laugh.
I think the Atalanta fans might have to get back to reality in time for the first season. They don't want to get their expectations up too high after the heights of last. Let's be honest, they're not going to replicate that. I think it's safe to say.
Yeah.
I don't want to offend anyone, but
well, no, offend away. It's fine. They're talking about Cassano just now in the Sky Sports studio in Italy, or they were a second ago. What did you think of that? Where like 1 minute he's like frozen at Sampdoria, frozen out at Sampdoria, then he joins Verona, to get his calcio career back on. Then he decides he can't be bothered. 4 hours later, he changes his mind and decides he can. And I think, what was it, like 4 days later or something like that? He's like, no, I didn't really fancy it. So then he just retires altogether. He's a madman.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, those few days almost kind of characterized his career. Just a bit of a circus, some highlights. But yeah, I think it was very typical of Cassano's kind of mind frame for a lot of his career. Unfortunately, because I think we all know there was a lot of talent that possibly we didn't see enough of. So can't be that surprised by his actions, I guess.
Yeah, no, this is true. We've got another question then about Atalanta from Hamza. Yeah. And he's saying, do you think they'll finish in the top half of the table? So what do we think of that?
Top half?
Do you think they'll finish top half?
Well, it's interesting. When I spoke to Connor, who of course is our resident Atalanta fan, he said that he just wants them to survive, like not to get relegated, which makes you think, you have to think. But I think the main concern is Europa League and how they're going to manage that. That's key. So it'll be interesting whether they actually have a go at the Europa League or whether...
hold on, next second day. Benevento, Bologna. Chievo, so what's
Roma, Inter.
Again. Roma, Inter. Oh.
Jeez.
So Crotone, Hellas, Verona, Fiorentina, Samp, Genoa, Juve, Milan, Cagliari, Napoli, Atalanta, Roma, Inter, Spal, Udinese, Torino, Sassuolo. Right, so Inter are having a fun start to the season.
Yeah. Wow. Okay. Well, I mean, if there's any question marks over the Nerazzurri, there's certainly going to be a lot of answers after the first 2 weeks, because you're gonna see where they are, I guess, straight away against a team like Fiorentina, who's lost so much. I guess also Roma in a similar sense, new coach. So it's going to be very much everyone balancing out. But then you've got Juve, Genoa.
It's not Genoa, it's Genoa.
Genoa, sorry.
Genoa.
I've got my Australian. I've got to change to turn my Australian off. Sorry. But yeah, well, it almost looks as though Juve is going to be shooting up straight to the top.
Well, to be fair though, like, when Juve play Genoa at the Ferraris, they always have a tough time because I think I've like 2 or 3 times in the last few seasons Genoa have actually beaten them there. And I remember being at one game when Andrea Pirlo scored a free kick like in the 90th minute. I think I gave Juve a win actually, a 1-0 win. But like, it looked like Genoa actually gave them a tough time there, so it might not be as easy as they think.
That's true. I believe actually it was their last match. Is it when Genoa won? No.
I need to have a look.
It wasn't too long ago.
We could go check, but I don't want to check. But we'll do all the professional things at a later date, I think. Cagliari have got a new stadium.
Yes.
That's interesting. This is like what, their 3rd new stadium in like 7 years or something like that they're still building.
There we go. That last season's equivalent match at Genoa ended 3-1.
To Genoa.
To Genoa. So that was in November last year. There you go. And Genoa went on to a bright season.
I've got a statistic for you then, right? Or a quiz question. Who's the team that's won the most first games in Serie A?
The most what games?
First games. Like, who's the team that's won their first game the most in Serie A?
Let's say, I mean, you have to say Juventus.
Oh, very good. They won 54 of the first game. Right, well, round 3. What we've got on round 3. Inter have got Spal, so you're all right. Lazio, Milan. So, right, go from the top. Atalanta, Sassuolo, Benevento, Torino, Bologna, Napoli, Cagliari, Crotone, Verona, Fiorentina, Inter, Spal, Juve, Chievo, Lazio, Milan, Sampdoria, Roma, Udinese, Genoa. And then 4, we're straight into 4.
Oh.
Chievo, Atalanta, Crotone, Inter, Bologna, Fiorentina, Genoa, Lazio, Milan, Udinese, Napoli, Benevento, Roma, Verona, Sassuolo, Juve, Spal, Cagliari, and Torino, Sampdoria. Well, that's interesting. We get a couple of easy games then after Fiorentina and Roma. Oh, and then we're smashing it into 5. What's going on? Atalanta, Crotone, Benevento, Roma, Bologna, Inter, Cagliari, Sassuolo, Genoa, Chievo, Verona, Samp, Juve, Fiorentina, Lazio, Napoli, Milan, Spal, Udinese, Torino. So game week 5, which is the first midweek round of the season, that's looking like the biggest weekly weekend week of the season with the two matches there. That'll be interesting, huh?
Whoa, they just hit us with.
I was just like 3 weeks in a row. Like, what are we supposed to do now? And in other news, Samp won 3-0 against Cremonese in a friendly. And Huddersfield are beating Udinese. I like how the Italian teams have planned this. It's like the fixtures are coming out, but half the teams are away still playing friendlies when it's going on. So there you go. There's a wee statistic that I just gave you. 53 times, according to Serie A, but on my statistic sheet, it's actually 54. So who knows? Here's one then. Here's one for you, Nick. Which team has drawn the most first games in Serie A?
The most games, full stop.
Drawn the most games. And only the first one.
Oh, the first game.
Yeah.
Inter.
Nope. I'll give you another one.
Milan.
Nope. Right. Lazio. They've drawn all the first games 28.
28.
There you go. Yeah. Right, here's one. Which teams lost their most first games of the season?
Oh, jeez. Which team has lost?
I've got all of them. These stats are all great. This is brilliant.
This is tough.
Yeah.
It's someone like maybe like well, could it be a Genoa? It'd have to be someone who's consistently been Serie A. So maybe like a Genoa or.
No, not Genoa.
Am I on the right kind of?
You're kind of in the right idea, yeah. You get right there.
It's hard because a lot of the early teams, they're not in the Serie A anymore. Is it a current Serie A team? How about that?
It is, yes.
Let's go with
Pick yourself.
Bologna.
Atalanta. They've lost 26 of their opening first games of the season, and they've lost 4 in the last 5. So expect Atalanta to get beaten in their first game of the season. They've
got a tough start. They've got Napoli the second round, and the first round they had who was it? Someone difficult. Someone in Roma, and then Napoli. So second and third, the two teams immediately above them from last season, they're playing in the first 2 rounds. So that's a big test straight away.
What are they doing now? They're talking about Juve. All right, we'll talk about Juve then, because Juve won the league all the time. Hamza's got back in touch again, and he said that Juve are going to win the Champions League this season. And we did myself and Vieri did a little video about Juve. Basically, their Serie A dominance coming to an end. Obviously, they've won it the last 6 years in a row. Do we think that this is the year somebody else wins it?
So Serie A.
Hold that. We've got number 6. Cagliari Chievo, Crotone Benevento, Fiorentina Atalanta, Hellas Lazio, Inter Genoa, Juve Torino, the derby, Roma Udinese, Samp Milan, Sassuolo Bologna, Spal versus Napoli. So the derby, that'll be the end of September. Urbano Carroll's on the screen there. He's quite happy. Morata, nobody knows where he's looking exactly, but he's looking somewhere. Yeah, so are they going to give us number 7? If they don't give us number 7, we'll use it.
Atalanta, jeez. They're not got a good start.
Yeah, that could be difficult. If they get a bad start, and obviously they end the Europa League and stuff, then that could knock them out a wee bit, knock their confidence a wee bit.
That's concerning. You really think they needed a bit of confidence to start the season if they were going to kind of go on with it. So, the Dia fans won't be too happy with so far.
Right, real quickly, we were talking about Belotti. We can do him later, but what do you think then? Do you think this is going to be the season where Juve get a challenge or somebody else wins it?
I think Juve will get I think this will be the biggest challenge they'll get, and I think it'll come from Napoli. I think it's possibly the season that Napoli could take it. I did think I think it'll be a 2-horse race. The only other one I would put there as a possibility, but as a pure dark horse, because we don't know how they're going to come together, is Milan, purely because of the amount of money they're spending and the type of people that they're bringing in, and possibly still bringing in more. We're still not sure exactly who. So I think this could be the season, but I think Juve will deservedly start as favourites. I think it's hard to say that anyone else should.
No, exactly. So what about Belotti then? They had a wee thing there about Belotti got to Milan. Oh wait, no, is it telling us to 7th?
We're going 7?
Number 7, Atalanta Juve. Atalanta gets smashed this season. Benevento Inter, Chievo against Fiorentina, Genoa Bologna, Lazio Sassuolo, Milan Roma, Napoli Cagliari, Spal Crotone, Torino Hellas, and Udinese Sampdoria. So Atalanta.
This is brutal.
Smashing it in the Atalanta Sampdoria, right? We've got the derby as well. Inter
and Milan.
October, Juve, Lazio as well, and Roma and Napoli. What a weekend that is!
Wow.
And then what else have we got? Other ones there. Chievo, Sassuolo, massive game. Crotone, Torino, Fiorentina, Udinese, Hellas, Benevento, and Samp Atalanta. Like I said, what a weekend! Inter Milan, Juve, Lazio, and Roma, Napoli.
Mark week 8 in your diary, Serie A. It is action.
Middle of October is when it's all kicking off.
Wow.
There we go.
The big Milan derby. Of course, the last 2 have ended in draws. So,
he's got his stats out, everybody.
Well, we were at the last one, of course, Dov.
Wow, I can't remember. I got too many games. I can't remember. I can't remember the last game I was at because it was quite a big one. But I got too many to remember them all exactly.
I thought it would have been memorable because I was there, but no, it's all right. We did a wee little video for FIF.
Oh yeah, so we did. We had lots of things going on. Yeah. I remember because it was at Easter because they had Easter eggs. And I gave you one.
You did give me one, and I had it. It's nice. But that was heartbreak in the 97th minute. It was 98.
Yeah, I remember now. Yeah, it was like,
Milan,
was it Christian Zapata?
Zapata.
There we go.
That was it. Kalinic.
So basically, Kalinic is going to leave as well. I think the area resident Fiorentina expert was saying that as well. And what Milan was the place where he thinks he's going to go. So I think, like, for them to get a striker, I think obviously they want Belotti or Aubameyang at the minute. But if they can't get any of them, like Kalinic is what?
That's why
a poor replacement.
I kind of get confused how Kalinic is put into the same kind of list as Aubameyang, and like, with all due respect, I mean, Kalinic is just nowhere near that level, so I'm a bit unsure. Is he actually going to be recruited as a leading striker?
You wouldn't think so. You think he'd be more of an option because they haven't. Because if they sell Bacca, they've not got anybody that really. Well, Bacca's not even a target man. They've not really got a target man in that squad at all.
Yeah.
And I think that's why Belotti would be good as well, because he can play as a target man. But I think Aubameyang is a different type of target man, because he's going to get in the back of defences, but I don't think Belotti will do that as much. There we go.
Week 8. Poor Atalanta. God. That is ridiculous. That's
what happens when you're a big European team. You have to play the big teams.
Oh, yeah. They've been put into the... Oh, no. That wouldn't make sense. But, Roma and Napoli, that'll be possibly a big one that week too.
Oh, but obviously as well, the way that the calendar works is like they basically just draw one half of it and then it just rotates for the second half. So that big weekend we said in the middle of October rotates again at the beginning of March. So there you go. You've got 2 derbies to get to, Nick. October and March.
It's in the diary. We'll have to get on a wee little plane from Australia back to Italy in March.
From you've got plenty of time. Plenty of time. So honestly, like this is just a load of rubbish. Just hurry up. Like, finish it right. All right. Well, this is what. So Milan, Lazio on the third day, and then obviously the 22nd Milan and Lazio as well. So they're doing who their top fixtures are. So, like, correct me if I'm wrong, right? But see when the Premier League do this, they just basically just say, right, the fixtures are done. Here's the piece of paper where they
drop it, put a link out, fixtures out, go.
Yeah.
Nope. Yeah. Not Serie A.
Here we've got like ceremonies and all the presidents to sit and have a little chat. Right, we're going forward again. What we got? I reckon this is going to be the Rome derby. That's my prediction. That was close. Right, so we're Atalanta Bologna on the 9th week, Benevento Fiorentina, Chievo, the big derby. Chievo versus Hellas. This people is the most important derby in Serie A. Lazio, Cagliari, Milan, Genoa, Napoli, Inter. Didn't even have time to read the rest. Right, we're going to smash on with 10. Right, Atalanta or Hellas, Bologna, Lazio, Cagliari, Benevento, Chievo, Milan, Fiorentina, Torino, Genoa, Napoli, Inter, Samp, Juve, Spal, Roma, Crotone, and Sassuolo, Udinese.
Not any major matches that week. I think we've kind of used
Chievo, the lads a big match. Nick, I mean, Chievo are a solid team.
Shout out to all the thousands of Chievo fans out there.
Hundreds of thousands, like millions even. And then what we got?
11.
Oh, Milan, Juve, end of October. Benevento, Lazio, Crotone, Fiorentina, Hellas, Inter, Napoli, Sassuolo, Roma, Bologna, Samp, Chievo, Spal, and then rubbish teams that nobody cares about. So there we go. We've got a big derby then. The real derby d'Italia, some would call it.
Well,
do you think that that Milan have got enough to compete with Juve this season? And even though they went and smashed hundreds of money on every player they can get their hands on, do you think that they're anywhere near Juve's level?
Realistically, and personally, no, I don't think so. I think there's too much team unity that Juve's built up over how many years that is a lot more valuable than any kind of transfers that Milan are kind of currently undertaking. So I think they'll need a 1 or 2 seasons to properly build into a Scudetto challenging team. I think they'll definitely push for Champions League. Well, they need to push for Champions League with this kind of money being spent. But I think Juve and even Napoli will still be. I think those teams are very kind of close knit, and I think they'll just have too much of a team for Milan to kind of compete with. Roma, on the other hand, I would kind of put Roma and Milan in that next kind of bracket, competing for third.
Do you think, like Roma losing those 3 players, Rudiger, Salah, and Paredes, do you think that's going to really have that much of an impact on them? Because Monti's got a good record of bringing in good players for cheap. And Under, the Turkish guy that we can't say his first name, he scored in his first match the other night, yesterday I think it was, against Tottenham. So, and he was because I think when we spoke about this, he hadn't actually signed.
Yeah.
So got him in as essentially a Salah replacement.
No, I don't think it's possibly not as bad as we all kind of thought it might be. It looked like, particularly my main thing is Kostas Manolas, who looks like he might actually stay now. Still not certain, but
or you think?
Well, yeah. If they can keep him, I think that's key. If Roma can keep some kind of consistency in that defense, which was key last season to actually beating Napoli, that's huge. If they lose Manolas, I think that puts a lot more pressure on Fazio, and then I think that defense completely changes.
Hector Moreno's going to be the star of the season, Nick.
Yeah. So, yeah, and obviously Nangolan, I think it's pretty safe to say he'll stay. They would be mad to let him go, particularly to a competing team like Inter. So, yeah, I think it's they still got to allow Di Francesco to kind of come in and embed his playing style. And it needs to be, I think that it is still somewhat of a transition, and they need to allow that to let it kind of unfold naturally. And that might take time, and that's fine. That's, fans need to, I think, kind of expect that and be okay with that, which is why I kind of put them below a Napoli or possibly even Milan.
Well, Napoli's like a weird one because they've done nothing. You know who they've done? They've done a Tottenham. They've just not done anything. I think they bought one guy, I think from Bordeaux, if I remember his name. And that's more or less it. Unless you can think of somebody else that I'm completely missing.
But you know what? I think if you asked most Napoli fans at the start of the transfer window, if you said to them, would you keep all your stars if you weren't going to sign anyone? I think they'd take that. And that's the thing with Napoli. They are building something special. We see the way they play. Granted, they could probably use a reinforcement in the defense, but that team has so much potential to do something special. And I've spoken about them the last 12 months. The youngsters that are coming through there as well, with Diawara and Rog in midfield particularly. It's very exciting, and they have a lot of depth now, which they've never had. So they don't necessarily need to sign anyone for me. I think they've got the framework. It might just be some around the edges just to reinforce. But if they can keep those stars, I think Napoli fans are happy with that, and they're in a stronger position than they were last season.
Well, that's true. No, definitely. Last season, they lost their number one striker, they lost their big man, so they can keep everybody. Last season, especially, I think Vieri mentioned it when we spoke about Juve. He mentioned that Napoli, how they finished last season was immense. They were the best team in the country at the end of the season, obviously. And if they can keep that kind of form going, then they can tend to get a challenge going. But I think the problem always been with Napoli, there's just some games where they just switch off. It's just like they'll be playing Chievo, for example, and they'll get beat 3-0 or something like that, or they'll be playing Atalanta at home and they'll get beat 2-0, like stuff like that. That generally doesn't, it shouldn't happen with a team when you've got the talent that Napoli has. But that's kind of always been their thing, is they just switch off at times against teams that they should really be taking 3 points off.
Yeah. Atalanta is possibly a good example of that in Napoli, where they lost 2-0, I believe, from memory, where
Caldara breaks.
They'd been playing some wonderful football in the lead up and then just bottled it. They just didn't show up at all. And Atalanta, as they have for a lot of the season, took complete advantage and got the 3 points, which not many teams go to the San Paulo and do that.
Right, people that are watching, well, not many of you, but some of you, if you want to send us questions or comments and stuff, please do. Katerina Mira says, ciao belli. Ciao, Katerina.
Ciao.
Antoine Wafik just said Juve. Okay, very good. Hamza's back on again. He says Juve are going to be like Milan in the past, good in Europe, bad in the league. He thinks that they're going to go for the Champions League and they're going to win it this season. That's interesting. After what happened in Cardiff, where they got destroyed in that second half, that this season they might maybe forego Serie A for Champions League.
Possibly. I mean, that's what they've been chasing, isn't it? I mean, is another Serie A really a 7th in a row anymore?
Oh, wait, next here we go. Number 12. Atalanta, Spal, Bologna, Crotone, Cagliari, Hellas, Chievo, Napoli, Fiorentina, Roma, Genoa, Samp. They've got another derby. Inter, Torino, Juve, Benevento, Lazio, Udinese, and Sassuolo, Milan. So there, what we've got a big game there. Genoa Samp at the beginning of
there we go.
November and the beginning of
And
April.
into 13.
13, Benevento Sassuolo, Crotone, Genoa, Hellas Bologna, Inter Atalanta, Napoli Milan, and then the big derby in Rome, Roma Lazio. That'll be what, 19th of November, so another big game as well. Is that Laura Esposto? No, that's not Laura Esposto, is it? Caterina, is that Laura Esposto? I didn't see who it was. She loves Di Leone. That's her favourite. She loves the Serie B girl with the Serie B. She said to me once, Nick, that she wants to be like.
She wants to be like.
Somebody making like the dinner or something.
Oh, I think the cleaner's in. It's a bit late.
Oh, Christ.
In old London.
So it happens when you're in the boardroom late night. The cleaner comes.
Might just close the old door.
We close the door. Wow. There you go. So then we'll go next. Shut on the door. Genoa Sampdoria. What? That's the one where essentially it's a derby of the fans, the Genoa derby, della Lanterna, because the two teams are pretty rubbish in general. I remember, I think it was when they did 2 or 3 years ago now, and they wanted to play a rearranged game at like 6:30 on a Wednesday night or something like that, and the fans went mental, just like, what are you playing now? It's a Wednesday, we're not working, like that's a stupid time to play a derby. And they basically said, look, if you play at 6:30, we are not turning up, and the teams are both crap, we are this derby, so change the time to 8:45, like it should be. And obviously eventually the league seen sense and changed the kickoff time, which was good because it means people can actually get there as well. Where were we, Nick? What were we talking about? Let's talk about Napoli for a bit again. How far do you think they can go far in Europe, Napoli?
I think so. I think the way that they play, they can dominate most teams in Europe, and their attack is, arguably one of the best. If I won't say the best, but I'd say top 3 best attacks. It was last season anyway. It was incredible. So I think their performance against Real Madrid was key to show what kind of potential that team has, because they competed, and it almost showed that maybe it was one season too early. But you get the feeling with more experience, with these players playing more at that kind of level, that they could compete. And when they are on, they are incredibly hard to beat. And if they show up against a team like a Real Madrid, if they're on the day and Real Madrid may be a little bit off, they can do it. They can win those games. They definitely have the ability.
You think there's maybe a mental thing there then? Like they're almost like it's almost like not glorious failure in a Scotland sense, but kind of like they have that forever underdog status, that they're always fighting. Obviously, you've got the kind of southern mentality that's always fighting against the North. Napoli that's always fighting against all this oppression from all the bigger teams. Do you think maybe that plays into it, where they always feel like they're hard done by?
You kind of get a bit of that. You always feel like, I mean, even now that they're arguably second best team, maybe third best team in Italy from the last 2 seasons, you still get that aura about them, that they are, working class kind of team. They're fighting from week to week. But I think that possibly a cultural thing, which is good if the players and the team have that mentality that no matter where they finish, they want to fight for the results. That's great. And they do have that about them. They have that kind of, as you mentioned, maybe it's like a southern kind of spirit that they have. So yeah, it's there. It's definitely there. It's something, and the fans definitely resonate around that. And they're I guess a big part of that as well, with the atmosphere that you get at the San Paolo that we've witnessed multiple times last season. I mean, that no doubt plays its part as well and would fire the players on.
That's true. Right, shall I do another statistic for you?
All right.
Right, who was the last player to score a hat-trick on the first day of the season?
Oh.
This is play along at home, everybody. You can write your answers in the chat thing. Who was the last player to score a hat-trick on the first day of the season?
Is this going back a while?
Nope.
Is it Higuain?
No, unfortunately not. The right continent. Well, it was Carlos Bacca last season. You know who the last Italian was?
No idea.
It was Rolando Bianchi in 2006, where he scored obviously 3 for Regino in a 4-3 match against Palermo. There you go.
There you go.
Right. So they were having a break. They're even having a bloody break. I mean, Christ almighty. You don't need a break. Just hurry up.
Have we got some ads that we can run or something, Dov?
So I'll do an ad. Right.
Here we go.
I've got an ad, everybody. Right. Welcome to Forza Football. If you want a mug like this, it's got Bobby Baggio on it. You can just see the silhouette there, possibly. That kind of little crack. It's got Bobby Baggio on one side. It's got the Forza Football logo on the other side. I don't know if that really like kind of mirrored because of the camera works, but it's lovely. It holds liquids, beverages. Yeah. Get your hand on one. Say in about a week's time when we change the Patreon tier thing. Get your hand on a lovely one of these. You got a pen to write things on. It's not an invisible pen, it's actually a real one, but I don't have one to hand. So use your imagination. It's got a Forza Football logo on it as well. And you can get a sticker. You want to stick a sticker somewhere with the FIF logo on as well. You can get that. And I think, there you go, there's an ad. So what you need to do is, to be in with a chance of getting one of these mugs, you need to go over to Patreon and pledge some money to help us out so we can do more chats, more lovely videos, more articles, more podcasts, more everything. Because as we've seen so far this season, the season is actually shaping up to be very exciting. You're going to see the demise of Atalanta, the fairy tale, the bubble is going to burst. Here we're going to win the league, bursting Juve's bubble. Milan are probably going to fail spectacularly after all the hype surrounding their transfer status. Inter are just going to be a laughingstock, as they always are. Roma will probably finish second because that's what Roma do. And Napoli will be the best team in the league, but screw it up against Crotone, Benevento, and Sassuolo. And there you go. That is what's going to happen this Serie A season. So to be involved in that, go to Patreon. The link's in the description of this and every video on the YouTube channel. And then click on it and pledge. There's a lovely selection of tiers to choose from. So fire away there. How was that, Nick? That was a good ad, right? That was a lengthy couple of minutes.
It was a pretty long ad. I'm not gonna.
Well, they've got their ad break still going on. They've got like a selection of ads. I see almost time.
Oh, you did well to kind of
I just had
extend it out almost exact. Now they're back on. So time-wise, I'd give it 9 out of 10.
There's always room for improvement.
Yeah.
It'd be funny if the presenter kicks the trophy. All right, 14, here we go. Atalanta, Benevento, Bologna, Samp, Cagliari, Inter, Chievo, Spal, Genoa, Roma, Juve, Crotone, Lazio, Fiorentina, Milan, Torino, Sassuolo, Hellas, Udinese, Napoli. I think that's one of these weekends where we're like, next.
Here we go, 15. Next.
Benevento, Milan, Bologna, Cagliari, Crotone, Udinese, Fiorentina, Sassuolo,
Oh.
Hellas, Genoa, Inter, Chievo,
Napoli,
Juve,
Juventus. That's could
Roma,
be.
Spal, Lazio. Oof. There we go. So what's that? Beginning of December, end of April.
Derby
We've got
d'Italia.
There we go. What a
Week
couple of weeks
16.
that's going to be. Juve, Inter, Napoli, Fiorentina. That's another one as well. So we've got Chievo, Roma. It's a difficult one for Chievo. Not for Chievo, but it's easy for Chievo. And then just before Christmas, Atalanta, Lazio, Benevento, Spa, Bologna, Juve, Crotone, Chievo, Fiorentina, Genoa, Hellas, Milan, Inter, Udinese, Roma, Cagliari, Sassuolo, and then Torino, Napoli as well. So that's another rubbish one. So there you go. That's going to be a difficult couple of weeks for Juve. Napoli, then Inter.
Back to back.
I suppose it doesn't really matter because when they played Napoli back to back last season, they didn't really care either. Although one of them was a Coppa Italia.
Yeah, within 5 days? 5 days away from each other.
3 days, was it not?
Yes, I think it was.
Oh, Nick, what's happened to your microphone? Your microphone went crazy.
Oh no. Can you hear it?
There we go, that's better.
Technical issues. Always.
Technical difficulties, everybody. Sorry about that. Right, let's see. Jax X said, nice ad. Thank you very much, Jack. I'm trying my best. Hamza's asking about the podcast. The link to the podcast is in the description. You can get them there. They're on the website as well, but we've not done them for a wee bit, so we'll see. And Jax X has got a question about Spalletti. Do you think Inter are going to sign Vidal? Before you answer that, Nick, Ancelotti said today Vidal is staying at Bayern Munich. What do you think?
To be honest, I've never really got too positive or excited about that because I just don't seem to see it happening. Same with Nangolan. I just can't really see it kind of eventuating. I think it's more of a media speculation more than anything. So.
I
Particularly, I can't see them spending that much money in that kind of position where there are other positions that are desperately need to be reinforced. So you would hope
that's what you're looking for. You're looking for a midfielder. An alcoholic Chilean is probably the best one to get, no?
Sorry, say that again?
I say an alcoholic Chilean is the best one to get if you're looking for a midfielder. Allegedly. Allegedly. Not the midfielder. It is a midfielder.
No. Well, I mean, based on the kind of players Inter have recruited in recent seasons, that kind of might fit in well.
Oh, Christ.
I'll speak more about that.
Here, we'll do a statistic then. Here's one. Before last season's defeat against Chievo, remember that, Nick? Inter hadn't lost a league debut since 2011. There you go.
Yeah, that was a rubbish start to the season for Inter under Frank de Boer. Remember Frank de Boer?
I do remember him. What a guy.
It almost seems like a decade ago.
If you're an Inter fan, you probably do age quite fast, given the goings on at the club. It's a little mental.
Well, how many managers ago was that? 1, 2, 3 managers ago?
Yeah, there you go.
Ridiculous.
Here's another one now. I'll stick with that Inter stat. They're unbeaten in their last 4 first games in the league. Okay? So the last 14 times they've started at home in the league, they've been unbeaten.
Solid.
Yeah. Wow. This goes on for a bit. I'm looking at the viewers on YouTube. But at the start of this, it was about like 3,000 or 4,000 on the English stream. It's now 1.5. So people are just like, there's no need to do this. This is enough.
Yeah. Just a clip. They've only got 1 week left, don't they? No, 2 weeks left.
No, those are 2 weeks. The penultimate and the ultimate.
They're really dragging this.
We are dragging it. Totti's not even in Serie A this season. What's he doing there? Get out of here, Francesco. You should be at home.
Yeah, why is he putting on a jersey? He's putting on a suit this season.
What is
sitting
this?
Up in the stands.
That's not going to happen anymore, Francesco. You're with the directors now. You're going to have to watch your team be rubbish and just not be able to do anything about it.
That's basically been Javier Zanetti's job in the last couple of seasons.
Must be bad for the guys like Maldini, Zanetti, and Totti, and just seeing their teams just be this team used to be the best in Europe, and now look at it, it's all laughing stock. Oh, there you go. Has anybody got questions? Give us some questions. Jack says we do need to make big signings, whether it's one or those two or not. There you go. Why have he not done it? Why has Inter not done anything? It's one of those things. Like, why have you not done anything? What have Valero?
I don't know.
I mean, it's like, come on.
It's interesting. I'm really anxious to see if there's something going on in the background behind all the speculation and everything that maybe we're not privy to. They're going to surprise us with something amazing.
Right, here we go. Another one. Final few matches. Come on.
Something good.
Right, 18th week. Cagliari, Fiorentina, Chievo, Juve, Roma. Napoli, Samp, Sassuolo, Inter. So what's that? The second last game of the season, Juventus versus Roma.
And then the last
game of the season, Inter Lazio, Milan Fiorentina. And then that could Fiorentina Milan could be a Europa League decider.
Inter Lazio in the last week that brings back bad memories.
That could be a tough one as well. Right, there we go. That's it. All done. The good thing is they're having the break in the middle of the season this season. I like that because it's always annoying when they have it just before Christmas. And you've got like two games and you think it's the middle, but it's not. But this time they're playing over Christmas. They're following on from what Serie B did last couple of years and played on Boxing Day and stuff like that because it's seen a massive rise in attendances. So Serie A's hoping to capitalise playing over the festive period. Carroll's just saying that, saying everybody else does it. I don't particularly like it myself because I like the Christmas period to be an actual holiday. And that means it's not going to be a bloody holiday, which is a bit annoying. So yeah, there you go. That's my thoughts on that. But I can understand why they're doing it. This is Marco Palmieri just repeating everything I bloody just said. Quick one as well. Verratti and Di Maria. What we're thinking. Wait, hold on. We're a few questions next. We've got another one from Hans. He says, "Will Chievo finish in the top half of the table or get relegated?" Chievo finished in mid-table. Hands up. They always finish mid-table. They get their 40 points and then pretty much take it easy. So that's what will happen.
11th, pretty safe.
Yeah, I'll get around to it there. Verratti and Di Maria. Obviously, Verratti's PSG future is up in the air. Has he got a Barcelona? I doubt Juve could afford to pay anything for him. What do you think? Or stay at PSG?
Is this as a possibility for Inter or for
Inter? For Inter in general. I mean, I don't think, to be honest, Inter have got the money to.
Well, yeah,
to splurge on Verratti because he cost a lot.
I think Verratti would be up there with probably the most in demand players in the world right now. I think he would be in the top 3 if you could select any players. So yeah, I don't think Inter could compete. In Serie A, I think Juve is probably the only ones that would have any chance of getting him, and it doesn't.
Or Milan now. Milan. Like,
well, yeah, Milan now.
You would just be like, oh, you want 100 million? Have 110.
But Di Maria,
personally not a fan, and for Inter particularly, I don't think he would be a good player. I don't think he fits the team. I think he's kind of going backwards in terms of the type of players that Inter has recruited in the past, possibly over, I don't want to say overrated, but I will say overrated. Someone who doesn't quite perform to expectations, and, again, that kind of player that will run a lot but possibly won't provide the kind of service that Mario Icardi would need. So I think money could be. That's it. It's all about Icardi. Where the goals come from, Dove. Best striker in Serie A, right? I think he's on the short list of player of the season for 2017-18.
Probably already. We should just put him there and just not worry about it anymore. I mean, Christ.
I'm writing him down right now just as a note.
Just like, obviously going to be there, don't worry about it. There we go. Right. We would talk about the calendar, but it's a bit difficult to get the whole calendar on. I think we can safely say Inter have got a bit of a hard start, so have Atalanta, and then Juve Roma second last day of the season. That'll be interesting. And a couple of other big games at the end of the season as well. Nick, is there anything else you think we should say? Because I think that's pretty much all done. We're just talking about.
We've pretty much covered everything.
Yeah. So there we go. Right. I think that's all done. Thanks everybody for watching. That have watched from that way and come back. I can imagine how annoying and boring the Serie A calendar unveiling can be. We've got a quick one in. Hamza asking about Torino. Will they get Europe? Nick?
No. I think they could be on the fringe of Europe if they keep Belotti. The fringe, but I don't think they've got the defense is just not good enough.
And if the Belotti goes, then that's
yeah. Well, then just rule it out completely.
Yeah, exactly right. I think that's pretty much it. Well, everybody else has given up, so we'll give up as well. Thanks for watching, everybody. Here's my last bit of shilling before I go. Links in the description below. We've got Patreon, the podcast, which will be back soon as well. Website, obviously, Forza Time Football, which will have a lovely makeover in the next week, 10 days as well. Jack says Forza Inter. I say Forza Chievo. And yeah, go and click the links, and thanks for watching. And we will be back for the start of the season to give you some fantastic Serie A content. So, ciao from me.
Ciao.
And ciao from Nick. And we'll see you later. Ciao.